Good afternoon. Here we are back from lunch, ready to get going on another roll reveal. This one is number 647. It's a 1952 D roll. And I am hoping, perhaps, maybe, we might find one of the nicest, coolest looking RPMs as far as I'm concerned in the Lincoln Cent series. Let me show you what I'm talking about if I can get my stuff together here real quick. Here we go. 1952. Gonna go to Denver, Mint Mark Varieties, submit that, and go to right here. And actually, I'm just going to do it in this form so it's easier to keep centered. And then I'll blow it up just a little bit so it's easier to see. Okay, so on this one, we have a very minor split lower serif RPM, but that's not the important part. The important part is down here where you can see part of an upside down D punched into the area above the rim below the vest. That's not the only thing. Here's another good picture of it. That's not the only thing. I do not yet have photos retaken. I intend on retaking photos to show you. Let's see if I got it here. Wrong one. Pick the other one. There we go. Yeah, see, there's your split serif above, and then down here, there's a better image. Better overall image of that half of a D punched down below the vest. But what I don't have in these photos is that there is actually another D punched into the nose of Lincoln. It's punched sideways. And that's like the coolest thing ever. And I just learned that from Jim Brown up at the St. Louis show back in July. So I found that my coins have it. All the coins I've seen have it. All the coins that I've seen photos of that have photos of the nose area have it. So it was something that was on the die before the die went into production, and it really does look just like a D laying on its back. So that's what I'm really hoping to find in this roll, but you never know what we might find, what we will find. And so we're here for the ride. The roll does all the talking, and this is the roll right here. It's a 1952 D. Tubed roll. There's a coin from that roll. See what we can do about getting some focus on the subject. There you go. Pretty decent looking 1952 D roll there. So, I am going to dump this and get ready to go through it. It'll be the first time I've ever seen the inside contents of the roll. Now, because I'm looking for that particular RPM does not mean that's all I'm looking for. I'm looking for anything that's on this, including anything brand new, anything old, anything we know about, things we don't know about. Let me get this straightened up here. I saw the order they came out, and they spilled a little bit, so I'm putting them back in the right order. Once I have assigned names to the spots, I want to keep those coins 100% in order, because those names have now been assigned to each of the coins in the order that they originally came in my tube or wrapper. And I don't want to mess that up because, well, I'm OCD and that's important to me. So that's all I can say. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and get started. Coin number 1 for this one is for Roger. Roger knew that we were coming in this about 5 minutes ago, so he may be able to come join us. But nonetheless, here, let me check this real quick and see if somebody's messaging me about something particularly important. Okay, let me go back to stream. Okay, here we go. Gonna get Roger's coin out first. Take a look, see what we got. Here it is. No double die reverse is known for 1952D, and in fact, a number of the doubled mint marks, the RPMs, that have been listed in the past have at one point or another been removed because we learned that there is a small size mint mark one just like this with the long serif. There was a punch damaged, and it was damaged on the lower serif, and that tends to have a lot of people looking at those thinking that they found something, but whereas actually they did not. They just found a 52D Lincoln. Now, look at the size and shape of this mint mark real carefully. If you look at the size and shape of this mint mark real carefully, you'll notice that there's a different one out there. And when we come across it, if we come across it in this roll, you'll know that it is there. I see something on the top of the 5 there. It looks like a partial turtle, but I'm not sure exactly what that is. Looks like maybe some sort of a die dent or something. It is raised. And there's another raised portion out here on the other outside section of the 5 right over here. Not exactly sure what that is. Well, and now that I look at this 2, it looks like there's notches on the 2, so this could actually be some form of a double die. We'll have to keep it close to vest and know what we're doing here before we really start announcing anything as far as a discovery is concerned. I can't tell you for sure that this is a double die. It could be very convenient damage. But we'll keep looking, and I'll hold this one out until we find out for sure by finding another coin of that type. It'd be really nice to get a new double die obverse to list. This is a die scratch. You can see how it continues on out in front of the bridge of the nose, directly in line with the line that we have under the eye there. It follows the right path generally to have been a doubled eye, but it's too thin and too well defined to be a doubled eye. Got nothing else on the obverse of this one. Let's take a look at the reverse now and see what we have, if we have anything at all. And most generally the rule on 52D is you're not going to find double die reverses, but we can't tell that for sure until we look. So we're going to be peeking at the reverse on the first 10 coins in the roll to see what we have. All right, I'm going to hold that one off to the side. That's coin number 1. That one belongs to Roger Borland. And now we are going to do coin number 2. And coin number 2 has the same kind of cruddy crud on it, and it has a notch in the bottom left of the 2. So we could actually be looking at a new double die listing. That is a very unusual looking die chip, break, dent, whatever you might want to call it there on the 5. Kind of hard to tell exactly what we've got by looking at it, though. These coins are not in perfect condition. This is a second example of the same die. We've got the same die scratch running through the eye. So that's Chubby Pop Chaser's example of this. Coin number 2 here. Now let's see, coin number 3. See if we find anything, what we find on coin number 3 for Chuck Patillo. And nothing of great importance here on coin number 3. This is yet another small mint mark. And I don't know what other people are calling these, but I call them the small mint mark because there is a larger, taller mint mark that went on to be used in 1953. This particular mint mark is a 1-year type. That is a doubled eyelid. It's a very small one, but it is actually perhaps a tripled eyelid. There are actually 2 lines there. Now you see what my finger can do for me. Let's turn the exposure time down just a little bit. Actually, that's not going to help. Let's turn the gain down, or the gain up. I'm having trouble getting this to show up for me as a nice clear image without a lot of white in it. Shiny, shiny coins. That's what happens when you get out shiny, shiny coins. They like to reflect. It saw its reflection in the snow-covered hills. This is not an RPM, if anything at all. It could be a very minor double die in that it appears to have 2 extra eyelids, so we're going to hold this out too. This one's going to be for Chuck. Let's take a look at the reverse on this one real quick and see what happens. See where the mint went with this. I don't see anything on this one. So it's going to be a doubled eyelid-ish double die obverse for Chuck Patillo. We'll check it and see if it's listed out there, and if it's not, we'll scrutinize it and make sure that we've got eyelids there before we get into listing anything. It's right now, this is a preliminary look, so I'm going to just call out what I see. Got some nifty weirdo stuff going on inside the D on this one. Not 100% sure what's going on there, but you know, I am seeing just a hint of that hump on the top of the 5, and I'm seeing a little bit of the notching in the 2, which is beginning to lead me in the direction of not die varieties at all, but just faults in the design and or on a master die. So we may not have double dies here at all, except for the doubled eyelid. That makes it different altogether. It's a completely different type of doubling. But these ones that are showing what I was thinking might be doubling in the date might not be. And that's exactly why I try not to give a lot of promise before we see a lot of stuff. Alright, next up, 1952 D. Now this one is the large D mint mark. Obvious difference between the large and the small. Large is a lot taller. Has kind of a different shape. It doesn't have that real scrunched down look. Not an RPM, and it appears not a double die. This roll is not the prettiest roll I've seen. Alright, so this one is for Eric Maith anyway. We have had Eric Buyer around for about a decade. Then Eric Maith comes up and becomes a new customer last month, and then we got Eric SFC yesterday? So I am being overrun by Eric's. But hey, I'd rather be overrun than have all of them ignore me, so it's good to have them. It's just a little bit confusing sometimes which Eric I tend to be speaking to, because when I say Eric, well, there's 3 different Erics I could be mentioning now. There's a double die. There's a bar L. Actually, the bottom of the eye has a tiny, tiny bit of doubling on it as well. Let's get this in here at that lighting angle so you can see it just as I saw it. So you can see that there's just a little bit of doubling on the bottom of the eye. Little tiny bit. But that L has a very clear bar on the bottom of it. So we have a second different type of coin here, actually third to be looking for. And this one is a double die obverse. Don't know if we have one like that listed already. Okay, strong die scratch from the 1 to the 9 and a small mint mark style. Man, that die scratch from the 1 to the 9 certainly looks familiar. Looks a lot like some of the other ones that we were looking at the other day. What was that, a 49D roll? Or was that today? I don't remember anymore. Nice die crack there. Big old long die crack going into the wheat. Looks like it goes about 5 grains up. Makes a nice marker for the RPM, as well as all these die scratches on the reverse. As long as this die was coupled, not RPM, as long as this die was coupled with the obverse die we have here, then it's going to be good marker information for this bar L double die. Let's see if we have any doubling on the bottom of any of the other letters. Sometimes it shows up, sometimes it doesn't. It did not show up this time around, just the LI. Okay, double die, obverse for Sureg. What was that, Eric, on tons? All the way to 55. What is its, Eric? Let's see what we have on this next one. Well, it has the right die scratch. Let's look over there real quick. It is not a bar L. The scratch from 1 to 9? Seriously? I didn't know that. How did I not know that? I guess I don't look at enough of them. This one has nothing on it. I was hoping I'd catch something there. But this is a nada. Small mint mark style. No real doubling anywhere. Well, I don't know, Eric. What do you think? Doubling on the inside of the mint mark on that? On the inside of the vertical bar? Got a lamp going nuts on me over here because I'm tapping it with my finger. Right there. Are we seeing a RPM there? Oh, you can't see it on your phone? Okay. Well, I'll hold it out just in case. This one goes to Sissy. It's coin number 7. So we'll get a chance to perhaps have another RPM. That might be, but I'm not sure it is. Now moving on to coin number 8 for Ant. And let me back out here so we can actually see what we're doing. There we go. Nice big Larry on the coin. I'm seeing something for a second time. Is this the same die as the last one? It could be. This is that die that had the, let me adjust my light here. Yeah, that's the one that had the scratch here that continues out the bridge of the nose. I'm actually seeing what could possibly be a double die in the date on this. Let me crank it around to where it's easier to see. There we go. Let me come into it a little bit here. Well, and see, this is the one that's got that hump. Man, this got all kinds of stuff, and it's hard to tell whether this is a continuance of something or whether it's something different than everybody else. But let me get cranked around here where I can see these lines well. Man, sometimes it's hard to place a call on this stuff. This is definitely one of the ones with the possible doubling on the 5, with that hump on the top. Now I'm seeing something inside the 2 that could be a part of some doubling. Could be. But what I just saw on the previous coin, what I see on this one, which could be any other form of doubling you can think of. It's not necessarily a double die. But I don't see it now. I did see separation in the tail of the 9 and the tail of the 5. And that's what I thought I was looking for here, but I can't seem to see it now. So it is probably nothing additional. And that line on the inside of the D may not be anything additional because I have it here again. And this is definitely a different die. That could be part of the floor of the mint mark punch. So when they punched it nice and deeply into the die, that showed up. And it could be that it's not doubling at all. Okay, so we're looking at something minor here. It could maybe be some sort of doubling that's showing on the 5, but that could be die damage as well, and I'm starting to lean toward die damage. Yep, same as coins 1 and 2. I think 7 was the same as well. Let me go back and look at it real quick and get it in the right pile if it is. Come on, where are you? There we go. No, this isn't the same thing. Definitely not the same thing. Okay, so that remains where it is. Let's move on to coin number 9 now. And number 9 is for Frosty. Let's get Frosty a doubled eyelid. Because Frosty can't see doubled eyelids. This is another... Let's see. It's kind of hard to tell. No, it's not. Another one of the hump coins. Not a doubled eyelid. It's not the bar L. So we continue moving. Let me check the reverse on this one and see if we have anything on the reverse to be talking about. Nothing here. So I'll take this off for Frosty and we'll move on to the next coin, number 10. And number 10 is Mark. Mark Thomas, let's see what you got, brother. Well, see, this one's giving a little better sign for an RPM than most of the others I've seen. Look underneath the top bar of the mint mark there. You got something going on out to the left of the mint mark too. Little tiny spot serif right on top. There's a split right on top of the mint mark. I don't know that I'd call the shot on any of this as new listing stuff. No, not seeing enough there to really push further study on any of the design elements here. So we shall look at the reverse and let it be the last reverse that we check preliminarily so in this roll before we get it to Eric, and Eric will check all of them. Just trying to get my lighting correct, and then I'll get my focus correct too. There we go. Here and there, I mean, you got to reshift everything just because you find a position that makes it work better. Hello, Mr. Smelko. Good afternoon to you, sir. You and Peter are lounging and you're watching on your phone. Well, damn it, you deserve it. That's for sure. Here's one for Taco John. Let's see what Taco John gets. I do have another reveal coming up directly after this one, and that will get me caught up to this week. But then, of course, I still have 5 rolls to get done this week. But that's okay. It's barely this week, so we have time. I got to get the auction finished after these reveals. Go get the auction finished up so I can post the items that will be for sale. Gonna try to make it a nice, interesting auction this week, and then I'm going to start advertising for next week to have the first Copper Coins Elite Night auction. The first Copper Coins Elite Night will be all valuable stuff. Not very many items, but it will be all valuable stuff. Okay, this one's for Eric, and I think it's a duplicate of a die that we've seen. Not really expecting much out of it. Not getting anything out of it. There is no list for tonight. Not yet. That's what I'm going to be getting ready after I get finished with these reveals. I've got, at the end of these reveals, it should be by 3:45. I should have about 3 hours till the auction to finish accumulating everything, marking it, getting it ready, lotting it up, and getting it into the auction stuff. Making a list and checking it twice. Gonna find out who's gonna get these wonderful items. Okay, what do we have here? What is this? I'm seeing a mark inside the O. I'm seeing a mark inside and to the bottom of the D. I'm seeing a mark on the bottom of the E. I'm seeing what appears to be an extra crosslet to the T inside the regular crosslet. Seeing what appears could be doubling inside the R underneath the U. And what looks like could be an extra set of crosslet under the T. I don't know. I'm going to hold this one out just in case. I'll let Eric take a look at it and see what he thinks, but to me it's questionable, 50-50 as to whether it's a double die. I'm kind of like no on it, but my body says no, but my brain says yes. So we're going to hang on to it. It's free. It only costs a little bit of extra time of looking at it to be sure one way or the other. This is going to be Sir Egg's coin here. This is number 14. And it looks like this is one that we have seen this die a number of times already, so it's nothing particular. Nice big die gouge in the L of Liberty. Other than that, we're done with that coin. Elite Night does mean you need to save up money for it. I've got Key Day coins. I've got albums. I've got really nice die varieties and errors. I've got things. Most of the ticket prices on these items will start at $20 or higher. Some of them will start into the $100 range. And this is going to be a special night of coins for people who generally are looking for higher key stuff, and I don't have the resources or the customer base generally to sell, $1,500 items. So I decided to do a special night just for that high ticket stuff and see if we can garner some interest that way, get people into watch and bid on higher dollar items, because I have noticed a number of times that I've tried to run a couple of higher dollar items in the auction, and it basically goes closing with crickets because nobody knew that they needed to save $150 and bring it to the auction. So if I give a couple of weeks notice prior to the Elite Night happening, this looks like another one of those ones that had me going earlier. I don't know, maybe that is just what the 5 looks like on 52. I haven't noticed that before, but it's got that little humpy thing on the side, and then it's got that little dot on the top that looks like a beginning of a hump like we were looking at on that other 52. I'm really questioning overall. I see this is that same die as before now because it has what appears to be that extra crosslet on the T and a little doubling below the U. A little doubling below the E, below the D, inside the O. I don't know. Help, Eric, help. What night? That one, I don't know yet. I'm going to figure out something on the calendar that works and then start advertising it. It's going to be closer to the end of this month. It's not going to be the regular Tuesday night auction. I think we're going to do something maybe on a different night of the week. It may be on a Tuesday. Who knows right now? I've got to figure a few things out and talk with a few people and see what they think. I don't know, what night of the week would you guys like? So if we were going to have an Elite Night auction as a special deal, it'd be a relatively short auction, and it would have mostly $20 plus items in it. We're talking about stuff like maybe an original roll of 1939 Lincoln cents, or a nice double die that has been selected especially for the show, or very high grade coins, or anything that is just not the norm that we can put out and offer up. I'm looking for a night of the week that people think would be best. Should I replace one of my Tuesday auctions, or should I do this on a different night of the week to give everybody the opportunity to get something on Tuesday closer to September 13th? Here's one for Crispy. I do also want to mention that I will accept silver and gold as forms of payment at Melt for the day the transaction is created. You just got to get it in the mail to me the next day, and we'll get your credit set up. Also looking for 2024 boxes of pennies, 23 or 24 boxes of pennies. If you have boxes of bank-wrapped pennies, 23 or 24, I will give $60 per box for those in trade. But I don't want just individual rolls. I would prefer to have a box, a sealed box that I can choose when they come open. And talk to me before you actually send something like that, because there are some instructions regarding packing and shipping that I would like to be followed. Like, for instance, you don't pay the shipping, I do, and I can send you a label to print and use that already has the postage paid. Stuff like that. The simple parts of the rules. Okay, this one is really getting me looking here. That's probably polished off concentric die scratches there. Yeah, if anybody out here wants to send me 23 or 24 boxes, I need probably 2 boxes of 23s from Philadelphia or Denver. I need 2 or more. I have probably 3 or 4 boxes each of the 2024 Philadelphia and Denver. And I will actually issue credit to use for sending me those items in the amount discussed. It'd be $60 per $25 box. You more than double your money on the coins if you're getting them at face. You think Tuesday would be a good night. Doug says Tuesday or Wednesday. Really my only gripe about using Tuesday is that we end up cutting out a lot of people who just want a few rolls of pennies to look through or something like that if we do an elite night. I'm talking about the entire night, the entire auction, just being higher ticket items. I'm not sure what I want to do about that right now, but it's a thought. Anyway. Good afternoon, Frostbite. It's going to have its own logo. It's going to be different. It's going to have a different opening screen. And it's going to be more just for people who want to pack their wallets full of cash to spend on coins one night, on coins that you can get rather inexpensively that you will not see elsewhere. I've got a number of pretty nice coins that I'd like to put up for auction. Up to number 23 now, and Frosty's name pops up. Imagine that just after he shows up in the room. How does that work out? How did we do that? We have a special bat phone that we call each other on, you know. I'm seeing more and more of the stuff repeated that I have seen around. Hello, 75. 75 in pennies, baby, is in the room. A 501. Which 501? Because I know a few people with a bad habit like that. They'll tell me, ooh, yuck. Big spot. Spots that I don't like. Don't like spots. Stanley's going to get this one for nothing. I'm going to go ahead and issue a credit for this coin to Stanley. I have to write it down or I will forget it. This is reveal number 647. And I've got Stan with coin number 24. Coming to you for absolutely no cost. Well, if your neighbor collects pennies like you do, your neighbor should be involved in copper coins like you. Maybe you guys could get a beer and chips night together and just watch copper coins on your big screen TV, bid against each other, and have a good night at it. I am not seeing anything on a lot of these, except a few black spots here and there. Little tiny black flecks. They screw up the grade of a coin when you look at it under a microscope, but I'm telling you, just look at these coins. They look nice and BU. I don't scope anything before I open it up. I just kind of take the cap off the top, kind of look at the coin a little bit, and then I count them, be sure there's 50, and that's all I do. Yeah, the coin with the hump is definitely coming out of the mix. I'm seeing other coins with very similar marks. All the ones that I thought were double die obverse, except the doubled eyelid, are going to come out of the variety pile. I'm seeing something that's common to a working hub or common to all 52s one way or another. So I'm hyper vigilant about noticing the double dies because of what happened to us yesterday. And there's coin number 27, now 28. Chubby Pop Chaser. Number 28 is Nuttin' Special. $29 now, Mr. McCumber. Nothing on that one either. Now coin number 30, Mr. Mark Thomas. Let's see what we have for Mark Thomas. Nope. 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 And nope. Alright, coin number 31 for Ant. Recently placed himself in a different part of the country. I hope he's enjoying his new arrangement. I'm thinking about someday maybe wanting to move to some place where there's mountains and be in an environment in a place I've never really experienced much. I kind of like that idea. The part I don't like is moving a bunch of coins. So we're going to have to work together in doing a large clearance sale. to move out a whole bunch of stuff so I can put myself in a position of being able to move without breaking the backs of 12 people. There's one of those. Little double die lid, actually triple die lid, as it appears at this point. What did I say was my marker for that? Well, I can use those die scratches under the one. Hope that turns out to be the same thing. What are we looking for on this 1952? Anything that's not normal. We don't necessarily write out a list of things to look for and then just look for that, because you miss things that you will regret later if pointed out to you. And then you'll see, well, how did I miss that? Because you weren't looking for it. If you're not looking for everything, you won't find everything. So we especially have RPM number 15 in mind, which has a D sticking out of the bottom of the vest down at the rim. Our likelihood of finding one of those is going to be rather scarce, but you can't go into a bunch of rolls expecting you're not going to find anything. You won't have a good time with it. To know all is to know nothing. That sounds kind of Confucius. Yeah, I'm kind of... Oh, that's going to be one of the doubled eyes. There we go. Tripled eyelid there. There's two extra eyelid tips down below the primary eyelid. That's part of what we're looking for. And I noticed that because of the X-cross zigzag of die scratches between the 1 and the 9 there. Awesome, Jonathan. That would be really cool. Grab more knowledged people to bring in. The more, the merrier. I enjoy chit-chat. Sometimes. And then sometimes my brain shuts down and I can't do anything for weeks. But we've all seen that. We all know that exists. I'm sure it exists to some level or another with most people here, that we get periods of time where, man, I really need a break. I just can't do this right now. Well, can't is a big word. We could continue doing things that we don't necessarily want to do at that moment, but boy, I tell you what, we really don't want to. And well, owning my own business has certain perks, and one of those perks is I can schedule a day off anytime I want to. Just have to realize that when I have days off, I don't make anything. Don't make any progress. Don't make any photos. Don't make any new listings for the website. Don't make any reveals done. Don't make any money. And if I'm willing to accept that, I can have days off. Back to Mr. Buyer. Nothing there at the moment from Mr. Buyer. Stone cutter. There's Ant. Let's see what we can find for Ant. Now that's looking kind of interesting. That's different anyway. That could be an extra little serif down there below the D, but that's going to be on our doubled eyelid, so we can easily tell by looking at other similar coins. But there's the eyelid itself, and you can see two eyelids out there if I turn it this way. So here we go. Another one of those. Did you say another one of those? Yeah. 42 now. Coin number 42 goes to Dr. Thomas. And well, we've got nothing going on. So back in the roll it goes. Number 43. Eric comes back out now. Let's see what Eric gets here. I'll be starting the other and final reveal for the day as soon as I finish this one, regardless of what time it is. I know it's scheduled for 3 o'clock, but I'll probably finish this one before 3 o'clock. And it'll take me about 3 or 4 minutes to get out of this one, get the other one set up, and get in there and start broadcasting. So it won't be a very long break. Maybe enough time to visit the restroom and maybe grab a quick drink, but not much time. Alright, that one's for Eric Maith. Let's see, 45 now. Goes to Taco John. And Taco John? Yeah, I'm not seeing nothing real special on this coin. What is that? That's some sort of a die gouge or damage or something. Or maybe a small lamination peel. But that's not part of the design that was minted into the coin. So, it was exciting at first, but then it became... Oh, it's one of the bar L's. What do you know? There we go. One of the bar L's. So that was for Taco John. A bar L for Taco John. Coin 46, Chubby Pop Chaser. Let's see what we get for Chubby Pop Chaser. This one could be one of the bar L's too, actually. Nope. I don't have my markers particularly remembered for this one. Not doing a great job with marker memory here. Bad example for the natives. My customers and friends who come in here and watch me do whatever I do, which is usually rather professional in coverage and intent and what I do and how I do it, although sometimes I get a little wild. Get a little wild hair running up my back, and I got to do something with it. The coin he asked about. What coin did he ask about? Best about being your own boss. Have a D and no... Okay, the 1982s. Yeah, that video that Frosty posted there is a pretty popular video. Explains everything to you. Thank you, Frosty. I didn't see the chat message because I'm working this role here. Sometimes I'm paying attention, sometimes, well, I'm just not. That was number 48. Now we go to number 49. 49 is for Frosty. What do you know? Frosty speaks up, he gets another coin. Yeah, I wish it were a prettier coin, but it's still a 52D. Last coin this roll, then I'm moving over to the next reveal. Goes to Crispy. Let's see what Crispy gets in here. And, well, nothing on the mint mark. It is not a doubled eyelid. This is one that had... Okay. This is one that had some kind of marks I was looking at. I don't remember now what it was. You know, it doesn't have anything on it. So, most of the coins that I had pulled out as Diverettis, possibly, I've already proven are not. Many of the rest might or might not be good enough to list. Had a few pretty nice looking possibilities come into this roll. So we'll see what happens. It'll go to Eric, and he'll either make or crush dreams, one or the other. I have no control over that. Eric is his own person. He does what he does. Okay, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and move over to the other stream. You guys can follow me along. It's going to be reveal number 648. It's going to be for a 1955 D Lincoln Cent Roll. We're going to take off and get that one started here in about 5 minutes, so I'll see you there.